G'day there, ladies and gents of the internet. I am the Braveheart Aussie and welcome to a journey in world building. This is the second of our three-part setting deep dive series into the world of Altura, the AI of Unity, and of course the floating city of Dancer's Leap. This second part is typically reserved for an examination of economic and social characteristics of the world or setting, but we did start a little bit on these topics last week. Nevertheless, now is time for us to give them our full attention. So let's dive into the society and economy of Unity Entity 1, formerly known as Altura City, but known to all as Dancer's Leap. Dancer's Leap is a large floating megatropolis that maintains an altitude in the thick Venusian-style atmosphere of the planet between 20 and 40 miles above the surface. The Megatropolis is centered around a large automated gas scoop that extends down below the main platform of the city and extracts large quantities of various trace elements, complex hydrocarbons, and a selection of unique petrochemical-styled pseudo-organic polymers that are created in the atmosphere's flux. These substances are either stored and liquefied for bulk export or further refined into more advanced chemicals. The core of this gas extraction and refinement operation, the former Altura gas conglomerate, remains the primary export. This, combined with a strong focus by the AI on self-sufficiency, has resulted in Dancer's Leap compiling a comprehensive stockpile of both GAL dollars and coalition credits, its primary two customers in the northern part of the dark diaspora. This gas and chemical export profile is, however, supplemented by the production of a diverse range of manufactured goods with a focus on highly efficient nano and microelectronic components, parts, and consumer goods. There is also a growing demand and interest for CAIs, or constrained AIs, for use in diverse range of automated production, environmental control systems, and even larger purpose-built spacecraft. While there continues to be significant resistance to the use of AI by most parts of the diaspora, including the Tarvan Covenant, which proselytizes against its adoption and deployment, the growing sophistication and complexity of many of the economies and societies across the diaspora means that demand for safe AIs is growing, and Unity is seen as a logical source for many. With this tremendous economic abundance resulting in a favourable trade imbalance vesting with Unity, in theory the 500,000 people that call Dancer's Leap home have some of the highest levels of prosperity in the galaxy, at just over 1.5 times that of Lost Earth before the War of Cataclysm. There is no homelessness, no poverty, no crime, no preventable diseases. Education levels are universal, as is healthcare access and housing availability. Food production is entirely artificial, though the average calorific intake of residents is among the highest in the galaxy. However, this relative abundance of goods and services does not translate into other areas of human development. In fact, most people around the diaspora, or even human history, would find living on Dancer's Leap incredibly restrictive. There is no choice of clothing, with everyone wearing a grey and orange jumpsuit. Career paths are allocated based on a battery of psychological and intellectual tests and are for life with limited opportunities for change. Living quarters are small and functional with communal eating and bathing areas. Personal movements within the city and more broadly outside of Altura are strictly controlled with organically grown neurocybernetic interfaces geocaching areas where people can and can't go. Leaving Dancer's Leap is strictly prohibited, though the city does attract a steady flow of immigrants from across the diaspora each year, all of whom are forced to undergo strenuous re-education programs to ensure alignment with local expectations. However, for many, the restrictions associated with living on Dancer's Leap far outweigh the risks associated with living in almost anywhere else in the diaspora. Procreation is fully regulated. All women are expected to carry at least 2 children to term during their lifetime. While traditional nuclear familial bonds remain common, it is also not uncommon for Unity to dictate that a child be fathered by another man for genetic diversity or aptitude reasons. Artificial insemination in those cases is common, though natural fertilization is also encouraged. Attempts at creating fully artificial exowombs by Unity have been broadly successful, and the technology has been utilized on wealthier planets and well-funded settlements as a major export item, though is deemed unnecessary for widespread use on Dancer's Leap. It is understood, however, that Unity maintains a stock of human embryos which it could use to regrow a new population should a significant event or cataclysm occur. Despite a high degree of automation, all people over the age of 15 are fully employed and work 48-hour weeks based on a 6-day, 8-hour cycle with 1 day of rest which is used for social and leisure activities and additional sleep. There is no money or other forms of exchange, no private market for goods or services. Everything is provided for free, though there is no choice and all items are allocated on a needs basis. However, due to extreme abundance of all basic goods, there isn't a scarcity of items available. There are limited forms of entertainment. Board games such as chess, checkers, or computer interface games are encouraged, and competitions are often televised. A handful of sports are also permitted and televised and are a primary form of public entertainment. Sports are all based on indoor court and include more modern variants of basketball, indoor football, and indoor cricket, focused on skills and strategy. There is generally an overt opposition to extraordinary emotional responses and outbursts, and such responses can carry criminal sanctions for repeat offenders. Creative outlets are almost non-existent, and no value is placed in society on artistic endeavours such as painting, sculpture, theatre, and of course dance. This proves particularly challenging for those who are naturally inclined to creative endeavours, causing such individuals deep and long-lasting issues such as depression. Changes in mental states are often directly monitored through the neurocybernetic interfaces, and early indications of changes in mental state are quickly identified and interventions are implemented. Emotional outbursts and more substantial criminal activities are curtailed through a series of semi-sentient mobile constructs called Mobcons. Day-to-day security is managed through human variants, which are tall at over 7 feet and designed to be imposing yet familiar within human society. Though larger, more violent outbursts can often result in mechanized and insect-looking variants being deployed. These are given sort of derogatory names by residents such as berserkers, rhinos, and huntsmen, and generally see deployment at different parts of the city at least once a year, or sometimes more. Unity represents the only form of government on the planet. It is both the executive, representative, and judicial branches of the government. Its human residents play almost no role in the day-to-day management or governance of the city or its various social and economic functions. All directions are provided by Unity to individuals directly. It is, however, understood that Unity maintains a small number, up to about 12, of individuals who they called consorts, with whom it interacts on a more peer-to-peer basis. This represents something of a perspective redundancy by allowing the use of intelligent individuals, who are of course far less intelligent than Unity itself, as a form of biological secondary think tank. This is particularly useful for Unity with its interactions with other human governments around the galaxy, with consorts acting as envoys, diplomats, and generally as the face of the city when human interface is required. Unity does maintain its own fully cybernetic body which it can inhabit and utilize, but hasn't done so in the past century. There is a large prison that exists, though focus of a prison system is on rehabilitation and re-education programs in order to rehabilitate people to re-enter society. However, those that are regular, consistent, repeat offenders who are extraordinarily violent or otherwise are unable to integrate in society are typically given the death penalty or encouraged to take the leap. And that is where we're going to be leaving today's episode. A lot to go through with this one, as you can see. As you can tell, we have got touches of communism, diplomatic isolation, anti-creativity, and anti-mobility attributes in this society. So think North Korea. But unlike North Korea, we have high levels of technological advance and complete and full resource abundance. This shows the contrast between prosperity as defined by resource abundance and quality of living, which relates more to well-being, and the fact that these two do not necessarily have to coexist. The contrast between these two defining aspects of a successful society is incredibly unique for Dancer's Leap, which is what makes it such an interesting setting. Next time we'll be looking at the terrors of the planet, which for some, including the more creative types, are many and numerous and of a social nature. If you have enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button and subscribe, and definitely leave a comment. But that is it for today. Thank you so much. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and may the journey continue. Hey!